If people don't understand what you do quickly, then oftentimes they don't buy. And it's not because your business isn't valuable, it's because your message isn't clear yet. Today, we're going to fix that. Welcome to the Growth Table, Simplifying Small Business. I'm Karen Velez, and around here, we keep things simple, practical, and doable so you can spend more time on the parts of your business that actually inspire you. Today is all about message, how to explain what you do in a way that is clear and confident and consistent. And this doesn't matter if it's on your website or in printed materials or in a direct message to somebody or a networking event, or when you're at Thanksgiving and your auntie asks you, "So what do you do now?" And all of a sudden you feel your soul leave your body. By the end of this episode, you will have a 1-sentence brand message, a 10-second hook, a 30-second elevator pitch, and a simple way to keep your message consistent everywhere. So your brand message is a tool, and we have talked a little bit about branding already, but we have to understand that your message, whether it's that little 10-second hook or a 30-second elevator pitch, helps the right people recognize themselves in what you do, and they recognize it quickly, and it also tells them what to do next. So I want to be very clear here. Clarity beats creativity when you are getting started, okay? You can be clever later. Right now, we just want our business to be understandable. So we're going to start with a little fill in the blank. Don't overthink it. Your first version should feel almost too simple, okay? So what I want you to think of is I help blank solve blank so they can blank through blank. All right. What are these blanks? The blanks are your audience, their problem, the outcome, and the method or the offer. So I help this audience solve this problem so they can have this outcome through my method or offer. Okay. So let's break that down. Who is your audience? Your audience is not, everyone, right? Not everybody is going to be the target for your product or your offer, right? You need to pick a slice of who your target audience is. And we want to make this a little bit more narrow. So if you are a B2B business, right, your audience isn't just going to be small businesses. That is way too vague. You need to narrow that even more. Maybe it's solo service providers. Maybe it's new Etsy sellers or local brick and mortar store owners. That could even get more niche. What type of store do they own, right? Food truck owners in their first year, right? We're not talking all food truck owners. We're talking food truck owners that are new to this, right? Or maybe it's busy parents who want meal planning help. We might even get even more specific about that, right? Busy parents with children under 5 who need help planning weekly meals. If you're tempted to list like multiple audiences, you need to niche it down. You need to narrow it down. It doesn't mean that you don't serve those other people, but we need to get the message across, right? So choose the one that you most want to serve first or that you serve the best. And we're going to focus on that as your audience. That second blank is the problem, right? This should sound like something your customer would actually say. Nobody says inefficient workflows, right? They say more things like, "Ugh, I'm drowning in admin work," or "I never know what to do next," or I'm busy, but I'm not profitable, right? So this is something that this is where you can mimic your customers. You can mimic your potential clients and use their actual words to fill in the blank as the problem that you solve, okay? And then that third blank is the outcome. What gets better for them through what you're doing? Do they get more time? Do they get more cash clarity? Do they make more sales? Do they get meals that are prepped for them or a system for prepping their meals that takes the stress out of their day-to-day life? So less stress, more consistency, whatever the outcome is that your method or offer is going to provide. And then, of course, that fourth blank is that method or offer. This is how you deliver the result. whether it's coaching, templates, services, products, workshops, whatever it is, talk about that specifically, okay? So now I'm going to give you 2 examples. So if we fill in these blanks, let's talk about a service business, right? I help wedding photographers simplify their client workflow so they can spend less time on admin and more time shooting through a done with you systems setup and templates. That is very specific. And in one sentence, you now have informed somebody exactly who your ideal client is, what their problem is, what you're doing to fix it, and how you're fixing it. Let's try another one. I help beginner gardeners grow more food in small spaces so they can harvest confidently all season through my podcast, beginner-friendly courses, and step-by-step workshops. Again, very specific. We're talking about beginning gardeners, what we're helping them to do, grow more food in small spaces, right? What the outcome is, they can harvest confidently all season. How am I doing it? Through podcast, beginner-friendly courses, and step-by-step workshops. And yes, I actually do that. See how clear that is? That is what we want. That tells anybody that we come in contact with exactly what we do and who we do it for. Now, we're going to compress that into something that you can say to anybody in a hallway, on a voicemail, in a really quick reply. This is your little 10-second hook, okay? So we're going to shorten it a little bit. We're going to compress it down to I help audience get outcome without whatever that common headache is, okay? So I help solopreneurs get organized and grow without living on social media. Very short, sweet, and to the point. I help local service businesses book better clients without chaotic schedules. The hook is not your whole pitch. It's the thing that makes people say, oh, wait, tell me more, right? It's the way we get them to stop and think about what it is that we just said. So you're taking your one-liner and you're condensing it down to where you could say it to somebody in passing and they go, oh, if it's something that they're interested in. And then we're going to build a 30-second pitch that works in real conversation, okay? So it's a simple 5-part structure. We've got the hook, the problem in their words, the promise of what we're going to do, how we're going to deliver it, and then the next step, right? So the script template would be, I help audience outcome without headache, right? That's our hook. And then we're adding on to that. A lot of our audience struggles with the problem, and I help them, whatever you help them do, by your method and offer. If you're curious, the next step is then whatever your call to action is, right? So we're taking our hook and then we're taking our one-liner, combining the two of them, and then giving them something to do with it. And yes, you're allowed to say it exactly like that until this sort of becomes your own. The more you say this, the more you do these things, the more comfortable you're going to get. And that way, when somebody asks you a question about your business, hey, what do you do? You've got it. Boom. And you can tell it right off the top of your head. Okay. Now, if you want to make your pitch stronger, then you can just add one proof point. You're not trying to give somebody your full resume, but just one point that shows that you've gotten success. So you can say, most clients get this implemented in 2 weeks, or I've helped over 30 businesses clean up their systems, right? Or here's the typical result: fewer missed follow-ups and more consistent weekly sales. Or I've been doing this for 10 plus years. What do I say at the beginning of these episodes? I tell you, I have been doing this for people and for myself for over 25 years. That's a proof point. And I only do it once. I just say it in the beginning and then we move on, right? That's all you need. You don't have to give them your whole resume. Just one little point that says, yeah, I know what I'm talking about because I've been doing this and here's who I've done it for. Where do we use this? Your message belongs in your website, okay, as a headline somewhere. It should be in your Instagram or your Facebook or your LinkedIn bio or whatever social media you happen to be on. This can be used, a portion of this can be used in your email signature, your about page on your website, a pinned post on any of your social media. If you send sales direct messages, it should be in that script. You can keep this sort of in your back pocket or in the back of your brain as your intro when you're at networking events. If you put this in all of those places, you are going to feel like a different person in your business. You are going to know exactly who you are, what you do, who you do it for, the problem that you solve, and you're going to stop sort of explaining yourself from scratch every single time. That consistency is going to give you what you need to be able to confidently explain to people what it is that you do and get them to ask questions about how they can be involved. So we wrote a one-sentence message with our audience, our problem, our outcome, the method of how we do it. We shortened that to a 10-second hook. We combined it all into a 30-second pitch, and then we added a proof point. Now you can plan to use it everywhere so that there is no mistaking what it is that you do and who you do it for. So I encourage you to go back and listen to this episode from the beginning and just sit down. Listen to the blanks to fill in and just pause and write it down. Write out your one-sentence message. Break it down into a 10-second hook and your 30-second pitches. Read them out loud, right? If you stumble over it, that's okay. Practice it or shorten it. If you start to feel like you're sort of rambling, then remove some adjectives, right? If you feel cringy, that's normal. It's going to be normal. Just keep practicing until it is sort of just natural and you sound very confident. You feel very confident. I promise you it gets easier and you will be able to sort of stand there and firmly tell somebody, yes, this is what I do and this is who I do it for. And that will lead you to better conversations. All right, next week, we are building your minimum viable online presence for your business, your website, email list, social media, and we're doing it without the overwhelm. We're going to make it very simple. And if you'd like a calm space to keep building off of social media, come join us in the Growth Table Small Business Collective. We host monthly workshops, keep a growing resource library, and offer peer-to-peer support. Plus, you get access to me for questions and simple guidance. It is a low-pressure way to get consistent help while you grow. You will find the link in the show notes, or you can go to growthtablesbc.com. You've got this. I'm rooting you on. I'll see you next Wednesday.